Okay, first of all, please be under no illusion. I am not a fan of the Conservatives. I will never ever vote for them again until they become real Conservatives. Because none of them there now in the Conservative Party in government have shown any Conservative values. So this video isn't me sticking up for them and Boris Johnson. Because I think the only person to save the Conservatives now, ironically, is Boris Johnson. He was the one who was democratically elected via a landslide, and he is obviously an election winner. He's the only one people will vote for to keep Labour, Keir Starmer and their woke nonsense at bay. Of course, there's not much now separating Labour and the Conservatives. They're both different sides of the same coin. But I think a general election is coming, and I think the Conservatives are going to install Rishi Sunak as Prime Minister, and that would be a disastrous election-losing mistake. Now, the next leader of the Conservatives and the next Prime Minister, they are going to have to call a general election because they're going to need a mandate. A mandate gives them the clout they need to get things done, push their policies, and kind of justify that, they're doing the right thing, kind of. And I promise you, with Rishi Sunak as Prime Minister, the Conservatives will be unelectable, and they won't have a chance in hell. But my biggest fear is people will vote Labour. Now, just because the Conservatives, right, the Tories are pretty shit at the moment, it doesn't mean you have to vote for Labour. They are not the only alternative party to vote for. Now, I made a video the other day about Parliament and my views on the political process and the shit show of a system they have in Parliament and this country as a whole. And I did say that the only way to remove the status quo from the Tories and Labour is for nobody in the country to vote for them whatsoever. However, I know all the lefties out there, the woke progressive idiots, they will all vote for Labour because Labour is the biggest left-wing party out there. And the lefties are too short-sighted, they have tunnel vision. They only think and feel with hate. And they don't realise that voting in Labour, all right, it will get rid of the Conservatives, but that's just setting up the next Conservative government. Because Labour come in, they completely screw the economy, and then the Tories come in afterwards, and it's a vicious circle. Because like I've said, these two parties have the status quo. Nobody really votes for anyone else. But this, unfortunately, is what I can see happening, simply because they'll put in Rishi Sunak, and Rishi Sunak simply isn't likeable, and he's not an election winner. And quite frankly, he's quite toxic, because this is the guy who took out a US green card to dodge British taxes for him and his multi-millionaire wife. Now that alone should disqualify him from being British Prime Minister. And when he stabbed Boris Johnson in the back by quitting as Chancellor, Rishi Sunak left that office having delivered 10% inflation, the highest tax rates and borrowing ever. Now, what people are missing here and not really talking about is the Liz Truss Kwasi mini budget, and the fact that Rishi Sunak, when he was Chancellor, the fact that he was printing money to give to people to sit at home during the lockdown, causing inflation to soar, is part of that problem. And the fact that millions, if not billions, of that money still hasn't been paid back to the British taxpayer. And that has really affected the mini-budget, which caused Liz Truss's downfall. Now, Rishi Sunak may stabilise the markets if he becomes Prime Minister, but it won't do the Conservative Party any good whatsoever when it comes to a general election. A general election, again, like I said earlier, they need. And to be honest with you, it's probably the harsh medicine that the Conservative Party needs at the moment anyway, because they're completely out of touch with the British public, and they've shown themselves to be nothing but a bunch of socialists pushing for expensive, unaffordable green policies, and other policies that are so left-wing that the Labour opposition are stealing them for themselves. So if you are right-wing, if you are a true Conservative, you love this country and what it used to stand for, and like me, you are politically homeless, then vote for an alternative, small political party that reflect your views. And I think the whole political show now here in Britain It's an absolute embarrassment, and it's a mess. And it's a mess caused by the top two parties at the top of the political perch in Parliament. My God, try saying that when you're pissed. Labour and the Conservatives. So there we go, that's my prediction. I'm only human. If it's wrong, isn't it? But I think Rishi Sunak will be Prime Minister. He will have to call for a general election for a mandate. And because of the Conservatives' performance recently, they will lose, and they will lose big, and they will lose to Labour because there's no alternative. And people don't realise that they don't really have to vote for Labour. Anyway, that's my video. Let me know what you think. And until my next video, have a lovely rest of your weekend. I'll see you Monday morning, and Roger Trout.